Look how they massacred my boy.
Again! Okay, let's keep this one relatively short as I'm extremely late to the party on this one. Hot take here, guys. Prepare yourselves. No, really, prepare yourselves. Because I think this is maybe one of the worst Doctor Who episodes that I have ever watched. No hyperbole. And that really upsets me because everything in me wants to love this season as much as everyone else is, but as it stands, this era just seems hell-bent to tear down everything I love about this show. Yes, that is a personal issue, but I think there is also some more concrete criticism to be had here too. And, I'm sorry in advance for how negative this review is going to be. Now I'm on the topic, I may as well jump straight into the gravest sin this episode commits. Making UNIT look absolutely pathetic. Before I go on, might I remind you that UNIT is an incredibly morally grey organisation that the Doctor consistently disagrees with. Their presence has always been something inherently negative, even though UNIT itself contains close friends to the Doctor like Martha, Kate, Osgood, and the absolute MVP of the show, the Brigadier. In UNIT's 4th ever story in the show, they literally blow up the antagonists of the episode, even though the Doctor practically begs them not to. This is seen as a sad ending. Not to mention that they're a government-funded organisation literally paid to brainwash the population. They poison the water supply, mess with our satellites and put subliminal messaging into televisions. They are insanely powerful and have an unfathomable grasp over the entire population. And they nearly get defeated by a bunch of Redditors. You're seriously telling me that some Joe Rogan wannabe can't just be killed then and there when he breaks into Unit HQ and literally shoots a man to get to the top floor? Fuck what the population thinks. Unit can just brainwash them or erase their memory of the whole thing. Or, better yet, when Unit first get pranked by these internet trolls, why can't they just send out an EMP that disables their phones and renders them unconscious or some shit, then have them all thrown away behind bars, never to be seen again, and, again, brainwash the world into thinking it never happened? They literally mention Unit's insanely powerful alien tech in this episode, so why don't they use it? And this is emblematic of a greater problem of the era as a whole. UNIT is just a fucking joke. Hiring underage staff as essential personnel, refusing to do thorough background checks on important employees like Harriet or Jordan, and engaging in inappropriate work relationships that cross multiple boundaries of unbalanced power dynamics. What happened to the tough-as-nails military force we saw in Davy's first era of the show? Or the scientifically charged but still brutish powerhouse from the Moffat era? Why a unit like the Avengers now, with about 4 or 5 centric characters in a massive skyscraper and, not much else? The unit that I know would have just shot this little weasel on the spot, or actually had him ripped apart by the Shriek, without hesitation. Okay, with that rant out of the way, we need to talk about Conrad. What an abysmal character. Truly, what an absolutely shocking attempt at depicting a human being. Not only in terms of the really shallow characterization that consistently seems to contradict or fail to follow through on anything, but also in terms of his really stupid plan. This genuinely confuses me as to how no one is talking about this. Conrad seemingly has an ability to see into the future. Because if you break it down, he sees the TARDIS, then the Doctor and some random blonde woman after he gets scratched by an alien. So, what does he do? Simple, he starts a seemingly popular podcast hoping to get either Unit or her on it. Then he does get her on the podcast, takes her out to dinner, gets her down bad enough for him that she goes out to this remote village with him, where he has somehow convinced all of the locals, including this random old woman and her fucking dog, to prank Ruby, naturally after tampering with the entire town's electricity as seen by this glitching bus stop, all in the hopes that she will call Unit so he can call them out on a live stream, starting a spat of mass hysteria that ends with, again, a government-funded institution being shut down. What the fuck? Why is this so goddamn convoluted? It makes no sense! Also, does Conrad believe in aliens or not? I feel like he does, as this episode implies multiple times that he is a pathological liar. So then, what is his end goal? Attention? Ego? Power? I kinda get it, because that's basically all the rhyme or reason these alt-right grifters have for doing anything in real life. And also, UNIT rejected him, so he wants back at them. But what about the Doctor? Why does he hate the Doctor? And what about a little thing called self-preservation? Why does he not drink the antidote despite literally seeing the Shriek and the Doctor and Ruby and a TARDIS with his own eyes in a flashback scene to a year before his radical group even started? Whew. Okay, next point. The reason I ask about his political motivation is because it kinda makes no sense from a subtextual writing level. Let me ask you this, Pete McTeague. Do you think that alt-right grifters would really try to take down a government-funded militaristic organisation? Really? Do you really think it's a good thing that you've made said government-funded militaristic organisation sympathetic? Do you really think ending your story with hashtag I stand with UNIT is the correct political stance to take? Are the people who use the systems really the problem and not the systems themselves? Let me answer all of those questions for you.
Come on,
No.
give it up.
No.
Alt-right grifters love the police and the military and conspiratorial tyrants and fascists in power like Trump, Putin and Musk because anyone can see, under normal circumstances, UNIT are not a left-wing organisation. They're incredibly shoot first, ask questions later. I can think of a certain American uniform with guns who very much act like that around quote-unquote aliens. Yeah, maybe UNIT would be better used as a political allegory for racist cops or the American military's genocides of multiple Middle Eastern countries than fucking COVID. Just saying. What's even funnier is that my girlfriend said at the end of the episode that these backwards politics reminded her a lot of, in her words, the Amazon episode, without knowing that this was written by the same person as Kablam. And I just think that's really fucking funny that she sussed that out. Okay, let's end this on a more positive note. Ruby. Not to contradict myself, but I really don't like Ruby and I think she's an incredibly flat character. But I really do appreciate the effort to at least try and characterise her well. Giving her a deep depression and trauma following her departure from the TARDIS is a nice touch and definitely feels realistic. Going straight from seeing the Earth turn to dust to a normal mundane life again would definitely be enough to drive someone mad, and I'm glad this sort of thing actually got touched on for once. I also appreciate the attempt to try and elaborate on Ruby's newfound family from the end of Empire of Death, even if it was, frankly, still not enough. Especially because they all just disappear from the episode. Rather than the writer exploring how being doxxed and cursed at from the street, all because of the Doctor's involvement in their lives, might actually affect these people. Wait, how the fuck did Conrad dox everyone affiliated with UNIT? Do they not have super alien encryption or something? Not even a top-of-the-line VPN like Oh. Yeah, still no sponsorships. That's cool. That's fine. So yeah, Ruby got some newfound depth to her character, but ultimately, I don't think it was enough. This could have been a great character study, but the writer was far more focused on cramming in a morally backwards political snooze fest than exploring Ruby's family dynamic, or newfound leadership and confidence after leaving the TARDIS, or even her adjustment to real life again. Wait a minute. The structure of this season feels very familiar. Episode 1, goofy, light sci-fi romp. Episode 2, recent history episode about a member of the Pantheon. Episode 3, dark, gritty sci-fi with a cast of soldiers. Episode 4, Ruby-centric episode that fails to follow through on a character study because the second half devolves into a half-baked political storyline. This is just the same as the last season! Okay, I could honestly go on for hours about how bad this episode is, but I should try and keep my heart rate stable before I keel over and die. Pete McTeague. I'm sure you're a lovely bloke, and I'm sure you're a good writer when you want to be, but please, keep your keyboard far away from this show. I give Lucky Day a 1 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you all enjoyed. I'm sure you disagreed with a lot of what I just said today, so feel free to leave your thoughts on the episode in the comments below. Just please keep it civil. If you want to watch my other reviews for Doctor Who, click the playlist there on the left, and for some other cool stuff on the channel, click the link on the right. Take care of yourselves everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.